talk about it. Things are just popping right now.
Deep in the heart of Texas.
The hell do you guys want? And more important than that, how the hell did you find out where I was at? If they want some answers, they should have sent someone with some authority. Do you agree with me? Well, it really don't matter if you agree with me or not. On second thought, once you just sit your little carcass down at that table, I'll answer every little question you got. Before we get started with anything, like I said, we're on my time, so we're going to do things like I want to do them. I want to cover something right off the bat.
We're in the business of winning.
The first thing I want to be done is to get that piece of crap out of my ring. I'm serving notice. I don't give a damn what they are. They're all on the list, and I'm fixing to start running through all of them.
We're in the business of winning.
I'm talking about all the way to the top, yeah. But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
We're in the business of winning.
Moving so fast you can't even talk about it. Things are just popping right now. Things are starting to cultivate. Things are starting to grow. Things are getting real colorful.
We're in the business of winning.
Don't bet against me.
I don't bet anyway.
Lose your life.
We're in the business of winning.
Are you kidding me?
We're in the business of winning.
Are you kidding me?
We're in the business of winning.
Yeah, absolutely total control right there. Watch this. Champion's prerogative, and I just exercised that option.
We're in the business of winning. We're in the business of winning.
Yeah, if he wants to keep an eye on me, don't look behind you. Oh, no, don't look in front. Don't look to the sides. Look straight up, because I'm right on top of you. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're in the business of winning.
And any crying or any excuses is just sour grapes.
We're in the business of winning.
And I think that the spotlight should go on top of me. Yeah.
We're in the business of winning.
The cream of the crop. Nobody does it better.
We're in the business of winning. We're in the business of winning. We're in the business of winning.
Don't bet against me.
I don't bet anyway.
Lose your life.
We're in the business of winning.
Don't degrade the champion at any time. Yeah, I am the cream, yeah. The cream of the crop. And there is no one that does it better. On balance, off balance.
All right, check. I think we're good. Ren will not be joining us today, unfortunately. But we got week 3 of our picks, second annual football free-for-all. I think Ren won last week. Is that correct?
Well, he's won overall the first 2 weeks. I scored more points last week because I had the my super dog pick hit.
Okay. So you won last week, the first week. He won last week. He's leading overall. I'm doing horrible, which means I'm due. So the way we're going to make it work is, I think from going forward, we're going to have the winner of the previous week picks their 5 favorite games with a slight skew towards trying to pick ranked games, right? Trying to make the more interesting games, but you're not held up to that if you really don't want to do it. So, Ian, that means you go first this week. I guess throw out your 5 games. Who you got?
Yeah, so there was no top 25 matchups this week. So tried to pick at least the most competitive games or teams with storylines here. And start off with the rivalry game. Tennessee -6.5 at Florida. I think Tennessee covers that. I'm putting a 2 on it. I mean, I understand it's a rivalry game, but Florida looked bad against, a Utah team without their starting quarterback. I understand Utah plays good defense, but if Tennessee can just have some kind of decent defense, I think their offense is gonna outclass Florida, who's still looking for answers at quarterback. So I'm taking a Tennessee -6.5 for 2. You got any thoughts on that one?
Sorry about that. Yeah, 100% agree. I got them on my board. I picked them this week. I got them, what's about a touchdown -7. Same thing. I think they can probably just simply outscore Florida, even if their defense doesn't do that good. And even if their defense does good and their offense doesn't, they can still probably win. So just seems like a lot of outs for Tennessee to win here. 7 points doesn't feel like a lot per se. So for sure, I took Tennessee -7 versus Florida for 1 point this week.
All right, let's go with 7 here. Yeah. This next game, I think last year this game burned me because Georgia has just destroyed South Carolina the past few years, and this is a lot of points, 27.5. We haven't seen Georgia play a real team yet with their new QB. Good or bad, at least you know what you're getting with South Carolina. And I would think they could cover nearly 30 points, but I am only playing this as a 1. It is at Georgia. Georgia could come out, and shock the world. Maybe they not really shock the world, but blow out South Carolina by 50. Who knows? But that's a lot of points. I'm taking the points here. Only a 1-point play. Give me South Carolina plus 27.5.
Yeah, I didn't really look at this game. 27.5 only feels like a lot because we still don't know offensively like what Georgia's capable of and the new quarterback. So yeah, I kind of agree with you. My gut is that it does seem like a lot of points. 27.5 definitely is a lot, right? And South Carolina played North Carolina, didn't do too good, but they've seen decent competition. So yeah, you would think South Carolina can hang around, but I didn't bet on this game. But yeah, 27.5 feels like a lot.
Yeah, South Carolina was competitive a lot of that game with North Carolina, so they're not, some scrub team.
Yeah, Rattler could always go off for 3 or 4 touchdowns. You never know.
Yep, that's what I was about to say. Maybe he gets on fire for just 1 quarter. It's going to mess this thing up. So next game, Florida State -26 at Boston College. I know I was just talking about the big line here with Georgia, but Florida State has looked awesome on offense and really good on defense. And Boston College is 1-1. They've only played Northern Illinois and Holy Cross, and their win was they beat Holy Cross by 3. I think Florida State easily covers this. I got 2 points, and I was thinking about, I don't have it written down here, the over-under, Florida State might cover it on their own.
Interesting.
Not sure what the number is.
I'm looking at 27. By the way, on the Tennessee game, did you get -6?
I had -6.5 before you said 7.
Okay, I actually saw 6 on ESPN, so maybe it's come down a little bit since I last looked at it. Again, I have some other picks actually. I didn't look at this game. 4 touchdowns though, you get that hook on the 28. I'd probably go with you, Florida State 27. Seems doable.
Yeah, I got it at 26, but yeah, if you're committing to 26, you can commit to 27.
Yeah, the over-under looks pretty good, to be honest. I'd probably play a point on the over 48.5, if anything.
Yeah, I'd have to take a look at the over-under. I was looking at it earlier, and I think
48.5, that seems pretty low.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're clearly thinking Florida State scores a ton of points here. So that maybe it's just they're thinking Florida State's defense is really good, which the over-under, they could, drop a 50 burger on them, cover it themselves, 50-0. Who
Yeah.
knows? Boston College is barely beating freaking Holy Cross.
They're constantly getting good field position too and whatnot. But all right, what's the next one?
So, oh wait, I think Ryan might have actually agreed with this one. He's high on the Haynes King at Georgia Tech. So I got Georgia Tech plus 18 at Ole Miss, but not for the Haynes King reason. Just more. This is more about 18 points and Ole Miss being this game is sandwiched in between Tulane last week, who they only beat by. It was close until the end. They beat them by 17, but that was the backup quarterback in Tulane. And then next week they got Bama. So this is a classic, like, let's just, get in, get out, do our job. And yeah, Haynes King is definitely an upgrade from Georgia Tech's pass QBs, right? That usually just only run trip option, don't throw a lot. Not too confident in taking this. I'm only putting 1 point on it, but give me 18 points. I'm hoping that Ole Miss here has been concentrating more in their previous game and then their next game, as opposed to not really focusing a lot on Georgia Tech.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. The transfer portal, I think also you think about someone like Haynes King. Like it feels like the transfer portal is also going to give like some good trickle down to like tier 2 and tier 3 schools. It feels like if guys can just transfer in next year and they're like, yeah, you'll start. You're a 4-star a year ago coming out of high school. Didn't work out at A&M. Like, yeah, come on down. You'll start.
Who was you're not going to have the Matt Castle situations, right, where he doesn't play any in college because their quarterback room was so stacked, but he had to stay on that team. So he could have trickled down somewhere else and done something,
Castle for sure would have gone somewhere else in today's game. 100%. Mm-hmm. Would have to, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Next game here. This one looks pretty good. K-State minus 3.5 at Missouri. This is my lock, so I got it for 3. K-State won this game by 23 last year. I understand they had a different quarterback, and it was in Manhattan, Kansas, but they returned their whole offensive line. They got a lot of returning players on that team. I haven't seen Missouri do much to make me think that K-State can't go in there and take care of business, and 3.5 is not a lot. So give me K-State minus 3.5. My lock.
Yeah, I'd probably take K-State for a point here. Over under 47.5 again feels kind of low,
Yeah, a lot of. I think it's the unproven. Will Howard for K-State did play some last year, but who? I don't even know the name of Missouri's quarterback. So
just feels like a low total. That's all. That's all. Let's see here. So for what I had, I also took. I could just rattle them off. I took Colorado minus 18 versus Colorado State. 3 touchdowns seems kind of low, I suppose. I just like the point total, and Colorado seems to be like, if you're a lesser team and they can stomp you, they probably will, right? That's just how they're probably wired. So I feel like the 18 can be covered. I put 1 on that. I also took Wyoming plus 29 against UT. Feel like a little bit of a hangover maybe. And why I know Wyoming beat Tech, but do you think they would give Tech 29 points against Texas? I don't think they give them that much.
Yeah, and just think about it. These are 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. If you just beat Alabama and then you're playing Wyoming, even if you're up, you're like, you're not trying that hard. Like, so you might win by 2-3 touchdowns. It's not like you're giving that same effort, right? So you're not going to get the same teams as when you're playing a better or higher ranked opponent.
Yeah, I just feel like it's a 29. I just feel like that's a lot. UT will win, obviously, you would think, but Yeah, for sure. 29 feels like a lot. Also Tennessee -6, Florida. I took UNC -7.5 versus Minnesota. It just feels like UNC's not getting a lot of, or it seems like their spreads are kind of small. If I remember right, they don't seem to be getting very high. So I'll take the -7.5. Duke -18.5 versus Northwestern. I think Duke seems to be like a pretty good team this year. I think they'll beat up on Northwestern, so I took -18.5. And then you talked about the Georgia Tech Ole Miss game. I took over 63 in that game. These are all for one. My lock, I'm liking that Wyoming +29 against UT. That might have to be my lock. Now that Tennessee's -6 as well, fully under a touchdown, that one feels pretty good too. So I'll probably decide before game time which one's my lock, or maybe both. But those are the two games I really like.
Yeah, I agree on both those games.
Yeah. Did you have a super dog?
I did. I got Mississippi State +9.5 versus LSU. Give me Mississippi State. Will Rogers can sling it, and LSU lost a lot of players to the draft. Their secondary is a little shaky. So, maybe you hit a perfect storm here. Mississippi State pulls the upset at home.
Yeah, and then I went. Give me 1 second. I had Virginia Tech. I just slips on me who they're playing. Virginia Tech at Rutgers. Virginia Tech is -7. I mean, sorry, they're like +7, +6.5, something like that. So I took Virginia Tech. I think they can get a win at Rutgers. I don't think that's too crazy to think. So,
Very winnable.
do you have a survivor?
Yes, my survivor is the Giants.
Ooh.
Trying to get that Giants.
Ooh, that's a little risky, my friend.
They're playing the Cardinals. Cardinals got no identity right now without Kyler Murray. Honestly, they weren't that good last year with Kyler Murray. And the Giants might not like what they do, but they kind of have a formula they've been sticking to for over, this is their second season now. Just kind of game management, Saquon, Daniel Jones just kind of dinking and dunking every now and then, taking off for a run. Just seemed like a more solid team. And if I can get the Giants out of the way early, that'd be nice. Or I'll just go down at week 2 survivor.
Just follow the Cardinals around. Sometimes you just follow teams around and pick against them. I went San Fran. I think they're like -8, -9 in LA. Not a big travel game. They're obviously a good team. I don't think the Rams are. So I think that one was pretty easy. I think it's the biggest spread or one of the biggest spreads. So I took them. And do you have any NFL games?
Got a couple. I'll just Chiefs -3.5 at Jags for 2. Chiefs get Kelsey and Chris Jones back, so I think they're in a different class than the Jags. And then my Giants -4 at the Cardinals I took for 1 point.
Dang, so I actually went Jacksonville to win straight up. So I forget I forgot we had a rule about straight up bets. If you pick the underdog, I think it should be like +120, +125 or more, and you get an extra half point essentially. I think is what we did.
Yeah, I can find the spreadsheet from last. I think you wrote it down on your tab on the spreadsheet last year. But yeah, it was something. I think we had just done it like. Was it a set bonus, or maybe it had something to do with the spread that you took?
I think it was just a half point you got for picking an upset. It seems like we should do something else. I don't like the way we did Super Dogs is what it's if you hit it you get 5 and then whatever the
spread was.
The spread was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how we do that on a weekly picks because that seems like a lot, but I don't know. We probably wouldn't do it very often, right? But you could hit big or hit swing and miss pretty hard. So I took Jacksonville straight up. These are kind of what I put on bets, so I got a little bit of juice there. Chargers -3 versus Tennessee. I feel like that one's a pretty good game. Even if Eckler's out or hurt, I just think their system's good. The guy behind him also was like one of the best running backs last week, fantasy-wise. So I don't think their run game is ever going to be, unless they lose both those guys, they'll be fine, I think. Green Bay, Atlanta, over 41. I think Atlanta's going to score pretty well this year. They got some good guys, good playmakers out of the backfield, it seems like. So over 41 seems pretty doable. Philly -7 versus Minnesota. I just think Philly's a better team. And then I went Baltimore straight up versus Cincinnati. Cincinnati struggled last week, so let's see if it's for real or not. And then Baltimore, Cincinnati, over 46.5 as well. So I picked the over and Baltimore straight up to win. I did a point on all those. I don't feel too strongly about any of those. Maybe the Green Bay, Atlanta over 41. I like that one pretty good. So I might go 3 on that one later.
Yeah, trying to think if anything kind of jumped out at me week 1. Purdy looked good. San Fran looked really good. Obviously,
Cowboys are now the only thing keeping me alive after the Rangers and Aggies are freaking.
Rangers aren't out of it yet.
No, they're not, but it still has just been. You should probably, a good chance there we probably should have had a home field, but.
Yeah.
Oh well.
That last wild card spot though looks kind of nice, getting the Twins the first round. The rest of them, I think every other team, including who's leading the wild card? Is it the Royals? No, Rays. Including the Rays are all better than Minnesota. So it's the only trying to look at it glass half full here. Maybe you get to play the Twins.
Yeah, so essentially we just need to stay ahead of the Blue Jays. Yeah, I believe so. Essentially, we're just trying to stay ahead of them, and we're playing them right now. I think we beat them twice in a row.
Nice.
So, I mean, I guess we're just struggling so bad at the wrong time. It's just hard to feel good about it, right? Even if we make the playoffs.
Scherzer going down.
Scherzer, yeah, I know, it's just huge. Like,
Hey, looks like right now y'all are up a half game over. Y'all are in the second wild card spot, so y'all are up a half game over Seattle and 1 game.
Yeah.
So 1.5 games, I guess that would be over Toronto.
Still, we're just not playing very good. Is my point.
Kind of limping towards the finish line there, trying to hold on.
Yeah, exactly. Shit. Yeah, I don't know. Cowboys look good. Fucking Aggies, dude. I'm just fucking. I don't know whether to keep the confidence or just like we need to rebuild from the from the beginning.
Man, yeah, either Cristobal is doing great things at Miami, or like what the fuck happened with the Aggies. Let's hope that it's Miami just goes on to reel off like 7 wins, 8 wins, 9 wins.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't mean that much. As the days go by, it doesn't feel as bad, but that just means we have to we gotta have a good year this year. Like, that's just the way it is. I get it's hard. It's really hard, right? Because we're underachieving, but we're underachieving according to like how talented we are right now, which is sort of like bittersweet, where it's like we've literally never been this talented in our entire school's history before, like top to bottom and like blue chip ratio and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This team's like crazy loaded compared to anything A&M's ever seen, which feels nice. Like, that's step one of being a contender is you have to get to that place first. Like, you have to have talent all over the field, right? So like step one, it feels good, right? It's something like we've never been in this like position before, but then we're still just fucking struggling, man. Like, I know we had a good year like a couple of years ago or whatever, but just like a lot of these losses, like last year, the average loss was like 4 or 5 points or something like that. It was just really, it's just frustrating, like it feels good, but it's frustrating.
Yeah, that season where they ended 4th or 5th definitely raised the bar. And then like that off season, it was that year that y'all broke the recruiting record, right? So it was that season, then that. So it's just kind of the expectations have just gone up, which I mean, it's good. You want the expectations high as opposed to like a, Mississippi State or some shit where you're just expected to win about 5 games a year.
Yeah. I mean, being picked as a quote unquote like sleeper by some people, like it feels nice, but man, you gotta like, I don't know, dude, just losing to Miami like that sucked. I would have taken a heartbreaker over just the secondary just got crushed. They were horrible.
Yeah.
Didn't get a whole lot of pressure either though, so. But the offense, I still feel good about the offense at least. I think Wigman is still I still think he's the guy for sure. I don't think there's a close second.
Yeah, I mean, offense is doing its job. And it's vastly improved. Just
it's what's so frustrating, dude. It's like
more big plays. So, yeah, I mean, but somebody's got to win this SEC West. And I got Mississippi State as my upset, so maybe they knock LSU first SEC game, give them a loss. I will say though, I rewatched the Alabama-Texas game because, of course, and dude, Milroe. He's getting a lot of shit for those 2 interceptions, but if they tell him to run more, it's like he is so hard to stop. He was coming up with big plays once he gets going. When he's set, it's almost like he's got like one read that if it doesn't work, he kind of maybe tries to force it in there, but he's got a great deep ball and he's very hard to tackle. So I think Alabama might not be as in big a trouble as people think. I think a lot of people are overreacting because Saban usually crushes his assistants, wins out a conference, and doesn't lose big at home. I mean, it wasn't that big; it's 10 points, but it seems like Alabama fans think the sky is falling, and I think Alabama is probably still maybe LSU the favorite to win the SEC West. I feel like there's 3 teams that have a shot with the Aggies, LSU, and Bama, and then the rest are just a tier below, because Ole Miss does this every year, right? Gets up to about 15, loses a couple, probably ends at like 20 to 25.
Yeah, Ole Miss is another one though. Yeah, this year. Yeah, and like when you kind of put it like that, I guess I feel a little better that LSU, Alabama each have a loss. That definitely goes a long way. I haven't even thought about it like that yet, which is good, I guess. I mean, conference play will still determine everything, but fuck yeah, I just felt like, I don't know, I just felt like the Miami win like symbolized a lot too. Like, but Miami's also rebuilding a little bit. Like, we've got this great class, a lot of people returning. Jimbo's on the hot seat. Petrino comes in. Just kind of needed that one. Like, even if we lost another game down the line, I just felt like that Miami one was fucking, I don't know. Probably blowing it out of proportion considering it's second game of the year. But that's how college football feels. It's like you win one, it's like you're out.
I'm looking at the class rankings for last year. Miami brought in 2 5-stars. They got the 7th ranked class.
Yeah, so, they've been a lot better the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, he definitely had to take a hard. I think 2 years ago was Cristobal's first year as coach, so he kind of cleaned house there. And then, he's got a good recruiting class, and he's got the guys he wanted to stay in the program. So I think they're going to be pretty good. It's not like a bad loss.
Yeah, no, they're not a scrub by any means, but we'll see. Who knows? They could go on to have a great year. You never know. And that loss looks like, a lot smaller than it does now. You never know. But I guess that's what we got to hope. We got to hope that Miami just has at least a good year, and A&M's got to handle their business, obviously. We'll see.
I love college football.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's it. It's a good time of the year though, for sure. Basketball will be starting up in a month or so, and then, man, I hope the Rangers make the playoffs. That's my only thing. If the Rangers can make the playoffs and the Aggies cannot suck absolute nuts, then it'll be a good year for sure.
Dude, when you got your team in the postseason of baseball and your college team's doing good, you get these playoff games throughout the week to tide you over to Saturday. It's awesome.
That's hilarious. I hope to know the feeling. All right. Anything else?
I think we covered it.
All right. I'll see you on the next one, man.
All right.
Later.